Oh, so good last night. Had a great time. Good morning or good afternoon, boys and girls. As we're starting off a little early today, we are coming to you live from Choice Mortgage Bank. Michael Codsey and the great people at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730. Make sure you reach out to them if you're looking to buy a home and you need that mortgage company, or you want to refinance and get into a much better deal. Interest rates are down. So take advantage and call Michael Codsey. Support the great people that support us here on the podcast, just like all of you supporting us here on the podcast. Bill by my side, as always, rocking and rolling. We'll be here till a little after 2 o'clock. We'll be here. Andre Fernandez, actually, will be closing the show out. He will be joining us from The Athletic, and we'll talk a little baseball to wrap up the season, talk a little Marlins, and ask him about the playoffs. Last night we had the first wild card game. We also will have Michelle Kaufman on the show. Every Wednesday, we always give you an Inter Miami segment, and Michelle's got some nuggets and some information for you. So we will share that. Well, she will share that with you, because I can't say we, because I'm not doing the work. Okay, the only work we're doing here is, bringing her on every week. So soccer fans, and because see, I know how the bandwagon is around this town, right? I know how they are. See, I'm a soccer fan no matter what. Before the team gets here, when the team gets here, when the teams have left, doesn't matter. I'm always a soccer fan. I know that once it starts, and if they're hot, then people start talking about it, and they'll get into it. But here on this program, well, we're always going to be on the bandwagon no matter what the teams are doing, any of our teams locally. So we got a lot of things to talk about, bounce around the NFL, NBA. I got a ton of things that I definitely want to talk about. Last night, actually the whole day was just an absolute blast. Starting off over at 300Bs with our marketing partners, and just some exciting times as always. And obviously hung out with the gents over at the Big Cheese. The Big Cheese, by the way, will be they are a new sponsor of ours. Well, they're an old sponsor of our show.
They're back.
But they're back now here on the podcast, and we're going to be broadcasting on Tuesdays, one Tuesday a month, over at the Big Cheese in Coral Gables. So I'm hoping Tuesdays is whose segment? Manny Navarro.
That would be Manny.
So,
and he may be. You know what? I would venture a guess. He's going to be joining us when we're at the Big Cheese.
I think I can entice Manny Navarro to come on over to the Big Cheese. You know what I mean? And do your Cane segment with us. Get maybe a slice of pizza, or those delicious, delectable, mouth-watering garlic rolls. You have no idea how hard it was yesterday. In the meeting.
You didn't eat?
I did not eat.
You didn't eat anything? You didn't even grab a couple garlic rolls to go?
Yeah, because, dude, I'm going to a concert all day, all night.
So?
I was about to meet Lizzie. I didn't want to have garlic breath.
But you always got gum in the car, man.
Yeah, I get that. But I don't know. It was just one of those things that I just wanted to kind of go light to the concert. I wanted to just kind of,
Yes.
And it was, remember, we were
considering,
I didn't get home till 1:30 in the morning, dude. I dropped you off at 1.
Yes.
So it's 1:30 in the morning. I got home.
Yeah. It was going to be a long haul. So you got to think about your load.
So I just was like, let me be.
You probably made the right choice.
Let me be a good boy, and then, listen, every month we'll be bad boys when we go there.
I don't envy your position, because that's torture, man. To go in there and not grab. You know what my routine is? I usually get 2 slices of pizza, knowing I'm going to take one with me home. Get garlic rolls, of course.
He eats like a monster, by the way. Go ahead.
And then I either grab 1 or 2 entrees, depending on how hungry I eat, because I know that I got like food for the next 2 or 3.
I'd stop at the 2 slices and a couple of garlic rolls. I'm done.
No, but I always walk out with like a piece of pizza in my box, some garlic rolls, and an entree or depending on how hungry I am.
Like the baked ziti.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, there's so many things.
The
there. The big
lasagna.
cheese, the lasagna,
The
is
chicken
so
parmesan.
Awesome.
Yeah,
my wife gets the lasagna 80% of the time we go.
Yeah,
80% because she's a huge lasagna fan.
right.
But their lasagna is like just off the chain.
See, if I'm really
So,
hungry and because I want I like to leave a place, and if it's really really good, I like to have leftovers to like rekindle the thought and everything.
Yeah.
So like I'll grab a lasagna and whatever, and eat half and half, and have half of each, and a piece of pizza and garlic. Look at me, I'm eating
You're a
both
monster.
times. Yeah.
You're a monster. You are a monster.
It continues the happiness of big cheese while you're at home, man.
No, you're right. You're right. And so we had a blast last night. Godsmack and Sully were just phenomenal. They sounded great. And then obviously Hailstorm, who was before them. Even Monster Truck did a nice job too. They're not very original, the Canadian band. Their sound is not original, but they did
Solid
sound
musicians.
That
Solid.
They sounded good. They sounded
Yeah.
good. They were for a third band.
No, excellent.
I mean, the other day, what concert was it that I was? Oh, it was with my wife. We at Red Rocks. Greta.
Opening for Greta?
Oh,
Really?
they had a terrible.
They had
band.
a bastardized version of a band.
They had a terrible band.
As
They
bad-
were good musicians. I will give them this, but their music did not go whatsoever.
There was no direction, connection.
Like, wow.
Let me ask you a
It was
question.
one of those things.
Remember the first time I saw Black Keys, Fillmore, back.
Oh yeah.
The two guys.
Oh yeah.
That opening band.
Oh yeah.
That the best thing they did was help break down the stage to get Black Keys on. That was the
Yeah.
best work they did all
Yes,
night.
yes.
Were they as bad as
Kind of
them?
like the Monster Truck guys were taking down their own
Yeah,
equipment.
well, you know.
That's when you're paying your dues, man. That's the way it is.
Were they as bad as that opening band for Black Keys?
No, they were better musicians.
Okay. All right.
It's what it was. They weren't bad, but the music was just out of place, and it just didn't belong. It was kind of 50-ish music, 50-ish with a little edge of rock into it, but it was just weird. I forgot the name of the band and everything. But
So
it
it wasn't like Chuck Berry.
No,
no,
but it was more, I don't know.
twangy.
It was like if you added, it was like Martha and the Vandells adding a little bit of rock to their music. Yeah, it was just odd. I forgot the name of the band.
This was a bad splice.
Look it up. Look up Red Rocks, Greta Van Fleet, and see if it says who the opening act is. And see if it still has it there, if you can find it. But I forgot the name of the band, but they were just some awkward people, man. Maybe you can even pull up a video of theirs. Maybe they have a video and we'll play it.
Really?
Seriously, I show you how
Dude,
weird
wait
it
a minute,
is.
man. We don't want to lose our listeners,
No,
man.
just but just to kind of verify how
a small
weird
test.
it is.
A small test.
Yeah, and for those of you, by the way, you could go to our Twitter feed at Big O Show. Speaking of music, the sound check is out, the first edition of it, and it's got its own home now on SoundCloud. The first one, we launched it off of the Big O Show one, just to kind of get it going.
The pilot.
But we passed over the pilot now. You can't even get the pilot anymore in the Big O Show one. Now, well, we have it on SoundCloud, and I want to say Spotify is the other one that we have it on. Yeah, SoundCloud and Spotify are the two. We're going to put it on Stitcher. We're working on that on Google Play and iTunes and Tidal. We're going to put all of those on there for the music show. It's called Big O's Sound Check. So the sound check is starting, and I'm already lining up some artists that we're going to do some interviews with. So that is the other podcast that is going to start to grow. So as you guys know, I'm a fanatical music person. Sports, family, and music, and I'm good, dude. That's it. Just I'm hanging out with my family and my dogs. Give me some sports, give me some music, and life is good. That's it. That's really all I need to survive. Unfortunately, I have to make some money so I can actually enjoy all of that, and I can actually support my family. That's about it. But outside of that, those are the three things that I just absolutely love, and those are three things that I can't live without, basically. And so a lot of you have asked me about it. Hey, man, when are you going to get a music show going? Because I always incorporate music into our shows. In fact, there's some music notes that I was going to talk about today, and I go, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stay and stick with pop culture and sports, and maybe some other little subjects here or there. No politics, no religion, none of that. We're not going to do any of that. We're going to just have fun here. We're going to talk about sports. Sometimes it'll be depressing because some things are depressing. Marlins. Some things are, I think, hopeful. Panthers. So it's things like that. So we'll just call it like we see it.
Shannon and the Clams.
And the Clams. That's it. Shannon and the Clams. Yes.
The name is even like,
it's 50-ish.
Hello? Yeah.
Isn't it 50-ish?
Yes.
Shannon and the
Get
Clams.
yourself a pair of clam diggers on. And
I swear, pull up a video, dude. Pull
Really?
up a video.
Yeah.
I just want you to hear. This is a band in the 2019s. Okay, that's the thing about this. That's like, for those of you that know Greta Van Fleet, and I should be having this conversation on the sound check, by the way. But anyway, for those of you that about Greta Van Fleet, it's hard rock, it's classic rock. It's not classic.
It's Zepp.
But it's
Ish.
it's classic rock-ish. You know what I mean? And so that music goes nothing with the music that was opening up for them.
I was just gonna say, because you remember,
it was like watching.
you remember Sha Na Na, and it was for these people to go back in time, high school,
and that was
sock
70s, right?
No, that was 60s, 50s.
Sha Na Na started in the 60s. Okay.
Well, they started late in the
thought it was
70s.
the 70s,
Wait,
right?
they started in the 70s, but they were 50s, 60s.
No, I
trying
know,
to touch
no,
the
I know
sock
what their
hops and all that.
No,
crap.
I know what their influence was. I
Poodle
get that,
skirts.
but you're right. It's the same thing.
And they just wanted to
we were in the
take them people
70s,
back.
and they were going back. Yeah.
And I guess they were figuring that there was a touch of the Zeppelin people, 60s, 70s, and maybe throw this in a little variety.
Now, again,
and they, obviously it was misdirected.
This is a conversation for the sound check, but just to add to that, that's where Huey Lewis and the News, they said, okay, we're going to use those influences, but we're going to modernize it. And that's what they did, because if you listen to Huey Lewis's music, they have a lot of those influences in it, but they didn't make it purely sound like that. They modernized it.
Right.
And so they were able, do you believe in love or whatever, all that stuff, they made it sound more modern. So it was pretty cool.
You have songs to choose from on YouTube, sir.
I have no idea what they are. So you can't even ask me which
wait
one.
a minute. The first one is called The Boy, and it's got 446,000 views.
Well, go ahead. Fire it off.
Really?
Yeah, fire it off.
There's another one. There's Rip Van Winkle that's got 676,000.
I can't tell you which song is which. All I know is the sound, the influence.
Okay, this one at least has modern videoing, so we'll go with the first one, The Boy.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, Shannon and the Clams, it's called, right?
Shannon and the Clams.
Yes.
Okay. We did the skip, and here we go.
There you go.
When I was a boy, I learned not to cry. My daddy was
The rockabilly.
You hear it?
It's
all like classic.
It's the rockabilly country, like where rock came out, original country.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Les Paul. That's that twangy.
Yeah. Like you would think you're
They're
back
confused.
in the day.
Yeah, they're confused.
Now, again, they're good musicians. Okay? No, I saw them live. Okay?
They're very basic. Like I see the drummers. It's very basic and just stay to,
Yeah, he's got 4 drums.
Solid. Yeah, right.
It's as plain as it gets.
What was it? Buddy Holly, the drummer.
That's
the
it.
pop, pop.
That's it. It's just you only need a couple. That's it.
Buddy Holly and the Crickets. That was the group.
That was they opened up for Greta.
I gotta
and
think.
it's like it's you know what it was. It reminded me of the B-52s opening up for the Police at the Orange Bowl.
The look of the girl in the group, I was going to say, it looks like the guys are like the front man for hairdo like the girls for the dude.
Yeah.
That's exactly what.
Yeah.
Okay, enough of that.
For Greta Van Fleet, dude.
The only thing I can think.
But again, they don't bad, and they're not like terrible musicians.
Look,
they're good
if
musicians.
you're going to something that's in that, and that's going to be the thing of the night, it'd be perfect.
Right.
But you're going to Greta.
Right, exactly.
Like
It just, yeah.
Would you want to splice this with that?
No, they said like 800 times how honored they were to be there and all that because they
Whoa.
were playing to a full house.
Two
at Hard
sellouts, like you
Rocks.
said. Two
sellouts. Dude. It
And
was just-
obviously the sound, they were able to do a live recording of their stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you would want
yeah.
to do it there.
I'm sure they did, if obviously
the
being
only
at Red
thing
Rocks.
I can think.
Red Rocks as an opener.
It was like, there's going to be some people that are from the 60s, 70s that are older, and they probably touched this, so we'll give them a nice variety. That's the only, they were catering to that
I don't know
minuscule.
what either that or they were desperate for an opener, and that's all they could get.
You know what? I got to say this before, like, straight up last night, man, I understand the love for Hailstorm. Between the songs and listening, of course, to more.
Yeah, because it was your first, and you
Like,
saw her like
wow,
you
and
saw her,
like
right here.
5 feet away. Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
She brings the energy, the light, the musicians are great. I mean, man, they rock it. They blow it out. Like, they leave nothing.
Right, because
They
you knew
put it all out there.
Godsmack was gonna kick ass.
well, yeah.
That was your first time too
That
seeing
was
Godsmack, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I was. He was actually. Sully was surprised at how many people raised their arms yesterday at first time seeing Godsmack, because half the place was. And that this was another thing I never seen at the Coral Sky Amphitheater. The lawn was closed down. They had trouble selling tickets to Godsmack and Hailstorm. That only the amphitheater inside. They moved everybody in. In fact, they were selling tickets for $25. And you could have sat inside the amphitheater.
You know what?
That's pretty cool.
Exactly like you said
And-
last
and
night, though.
any of
This
you
is
out
the
there-
exact
that's-
reason
yeah.
why we have to travel
For other bands.
to see bands.
Yeah, now
That's it.
now Godsmack won't come back for 10 years. And maybe never again.
You know what I'm thinking? There was always a conflict.
Like
whatever.
Hailstorm, when they came down for their solo tour that they had in this moment in New Year's Day opening up, they didn't come here. They went to Orlando. And by the way, the Amway Center might have been halfway full.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know why, but the Amway Center compared to American Airlines,
Suppose-
soon to be whatever name,
It's huge.
but the way it's stacked, it felt smaller than the American Airlines. Being on
Oh,
the floor,
okay, yeah, I
looking
see what you're
around, it was
saying.
like, because American, it
Yeah,
feels
it's
like
built
it's
different.
spread out.
Yeah, it's built-
this
it's-
is like stacked like the in New Orleans. It's just stacked on top of each other.
Yeah.
And it's, you can see the seats.
It's a
Man,
different-
you ain't got no leg room.
It's a
This is
different-
like Spirit Air.
Yeah, it's a different construction, the way it's designed inside.
Which one do you? I like the laid out. You have some space. I like
What,
the
the
laid
tria-
out.
AAA?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's stacked up on top because we're
I
not
also,
small people.
I got to tell you,
It's-
to me, the BB&T Center is also a phenomenal arena, man.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Place is awesome, and obviously to get out, it's the best place on the planet.
They get you out with the quickness.
No,
like
but
no place.
That is the only place that was designed perfectly in every way, shape, and form for ingress and egress.
Well,
is that how it is? Is it
yeah.
ingress and egress? I think it is. So yeah, that's perfect. But last night, man, I got
Hailstorm.
to meet Lizzie, which was cool. She
even sent you a message, man.
yeah,
We're-
she tweeted me back. It's a
we're,
beautiful- she
we're
gave me
sitting.
an-
We're sitting there. We're up against the grill, but the three of us, Greep and me, and it's like Greep goes, "Hey, look at this! This is for you." And it's like from Lizzie to Orlando. What?
I got a tweet back from Lizzie, a little XO, a little hugs and kisses. I got from Lizzie
Did
last
she
night.
know it was your birthday? Was that what that was all about,
Gre-
man?
Well, Greeper, like I go first to take the picture with them, right? So Greeper steps up and goes, "Hey, by the way, it's his birthday." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, okay, yes." And so she's like, "Oh, happy birthday." She gives me a hug, all this and that. You could have gone anywhere and you came here to see us. That's awesome, and this and that. And obviously I was sporting a Hailstorm shirt. So she knows that I was, I love Godsmack, but Hailstorm is really, my passion. You know what I mean? And so it's one of those deals. So she could tell that I was a fan, and then she gave me a pic of hers. So that
pick was actually pretty cool.
That was actually
purple,
pretty cool.
But I think that's the first purple pick I've seen. How about you?
Yeah. I don't think I have
Although
a purple.
Motorhead did have like black and purple in
Yes.
it. Lemmys.
Yes.
And yeah, let's be honest. The idea, if the tickets are priced right, that the possibility of going again and traveling to Fort Myers, maybe.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that craziness today. I don't know. I'll see. We'll see how we finish the day today, and if we're willing to drive over to Fort Myers to see Lizzie.
I don't put it past you, man.
No. But what I need is the prices to go down. If the prices go down, because since we're in Boca, it's a trek because we still have to get down to Miami to then go to the drive to Fort Myers is a joke there and back. I don't care about that. That's nothing. I mean, I do the Orlando and Tampa.
No, and you
one,
said it's on the south end because Fort Myers is pretty large. You get up around Cape Coral. That's another 30, 40 minutes down the road.
Yeah.
But it's on the south
But
end.
it's a small arena.
It's obviously just north of Naples, basically. You make the curve at the 100-mile mark, and it's right there, right?
Now, the question I had, and I asked, Grieper and I were talking about this last night, will they do long train running today? Because they shortened the set by 2 songs at Coral Sky. Godsmack left out 2 songs. Highway to Hell, that they were doing in other shows.
They did that compilation when they were doing the drum.
No, but
drum
I'm saying,
off.
Yeah. But it wasn't. Was that Highway to Hell? No, it wasn't Highway to Hell.
No, they did Back in Black.
Right.
Back in, because I remember singing the song and Grieper was sitting there and they switched to Aerosmith.
Highway to Hell's towards the end of this. It's the
What's
second to last song.
Yeah, part of the encore.
And they didn't do that part of the encore. And then Long Train Running, Lizzie comes back on stage to do Long Train Running with them. And they didn't do that, the Doobie Brothers song.
So there's more inspiration for the venture to Fort Myers, man.
That's what, I'm kind of like thinking.
It's got a little like scratch. You got an itch.
Yeah, and plus, I don't mind seeing Godsmack and Lizzie again. I mean, that's just a great.
Well, considering
show,
it was my first
dude.
jump in, I wouldn't mind back to back and have 2 under my belt.
No, I mean,
both.
I got to tell you, just got to see the prices.
It was such a great show, man.
It was
amazing.
I do have a request out there to our listeners. If anybody knows a trustable frame shop, I got a couple things I want to frame. I don't know where to go, who to trust. So if somebody has a hookup, reach out to me on Twitter at Big O Show or my email, orlando@thebigoshow.com. You can always reach out to me.
If you got the hookup, holler if you hear me.
Yeah, Antonio was asking on Twitter if we ended up running into the Mosh Idiots. And yes, we ran into the Mosh Idiots yesterday on the damn show.
Do you want me to go there, man?
No,
because honestly, every concert I've been to, I have been able to shoot a video from start to finish of songs, and I usually get depending on the band, 4 to ELO was like 11. Okay, 0. There was no video I have of a complete song because of getting hit and pounded. And the thing about it was, most of them to my right were girls, and these guys didn't care, and they kept slamming them.
Yeah, they kept slamming in the girls.
And the age group we were talking about last night on the way home, the age group of these guys.
I really don't understand you moshers. None of you. I don't. I think it's the dumbest thing in the world. And then when you see grown-ass men doing it,
minimum they were mid-30s to 50s.
Oh, easy.
The minimum age was 30, mid-30 and up.
Yeah.
Okay? And you know what? Like I said last time,
you're just losers.
You're that close.
Yeah.
And your ass is more interested in slamming into each other than sitting and watching the band, and you're right there. What? Like, are you dumb?
Yeah.
What did you pay all that to slam it to? Yeah, like, you could do that out in the parking lot, okay, and put it on a radio. You're 10 feet away from the band, and you're more interested in turning or in slamming into each other.
Yeah,
you know what? These guys, those guys last night, man, those were those idiots that were at, like, parties, high school, college parties, and they would get drunk, and they would just want to fight.
Right.
They wouldn't be interested in the girls or this or whatever. Or what are we going to do? When are we going to the beach tomorrow? Having fun. They were about getting drunk and fighting. That's all they were about.
Those guys, I mean, it's just, to me,
losers.
Again, you mosh guys, I just think it's just dumb. Craig sends in the birthday wishes. Thank you, all of you, for all the birthday wishes on the accidentlawfirm.com text line at 786-322-1105 if you want to send in. Let's see, what else do we have here? More happy birthdays. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, from Mr. Ridley. What else do we have here? As a Dolphins fan, I'm laughing my butt off at the Cincinnati, Jets, Skins, and Minnesotas of the world. You're stuck in the middle. Exactly. You are correct, sir. They are stuck in the middle. Core young guys doing worse than last year. Ballage, Gesicki, Baker, Grant, Howard. Cause for concern when building for the future. Is it coaching? It can't be coaching because Rosen gets better. And what's it called? Raekwon McMillan is getting better, and the offensive line got better, and the entire defense played into the third quarter against Dallas and gave you a half, this past week. It's not coaching; it's just funks that Grant and Ballage are in. Gesicki has not done anything in his career yet, going into his second year, so it's not them. Gesicki has yet to wake up. So,
it is kind of funny when you think about it. These teams did stuff, aspired, tried. Here we are, and they're laying an egg as big as the Dolphins.
But look at that text there that just came in. What did I tell you was going to happen down the line if they actually go 0-16? People will say, well, the coach sucks. But then if they win a game, they're going to say, well, the coach is ruining our draft position. But they won't bother to say, wow, it's pretty amazing you won a game with a team that has no talent. Because they won't bother pointing out the negative.
He's damned if he does, and he's damned if he don't.
And then this guy sends in the text blaming Gesicki hasn't done anything on the coaching staff when Gesicki hasn't done anything. And Raekwon's playing better, but he doesn't mention Raekwon playing better. Well, with some look, the Pro Football Focus stats, I don't necessarily rely on them.
You could do all the coaching and all the and film and everything and game them. Man, when the player gets out on the field, if that player sucks, he sucks.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, right.
Like Rowe. Look, our game plan, and it's like Greer's.
Charles Harris.
In full.
Charles Harris.
Yes.
Taco's playing well, and Charles Harris continues to play like crap.
And Flores said it. Coaches in the NFL are good. They're going to find your weakness. And in the second half, they go in, they know our weakness, and that's exactly where they go.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. They figure it out. But and also I think they run out of talent in the end. They can only get you so far.
You can only smoke in mirrors,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, and cover and not leave yourself exposed over here and then find out. Yeah.
Belated Happy Biz Day. By the way, drawing rock fans to shows has always been a problem in Miami. I played in local bands for years at Churchill's, etc., and usually the fans in the audience were other bands, and that was Bill in Simi Valley tuning in as always. Yeah, it's always been like that. That's why we always end up traveling for other shows, because bands don't come down here often. And then when you have the experiences from yesterday, you have Godsmack and Hailstorm. The Coral Sky Amphitheater should be jam-packed.
The lawn, yes.
Should be jam-packed.
Yes.
And it wasn't packed yesterday. So to me, that's where it's sad, but that's the reality that we're in.
No, and like you said, man, bottom line, Godsmack, we'll stay a little further up north, man. You want to come and see us, you got to go north. That's where the crowd's at.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Give me, if you want to reach out to us, as always, on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. At 1 o'clock, which is in 20 minutes, Michelle Kaufman is going to join us. And I'm looking forward to this because with Michelle, we're going to be able to talk about several things. First of all, we've got the expansion priority draft between Nashville and Miami. So that takes place on Sunday. So we're already going to start finding out about some players. She's going to walk us through the priority. I mean, we're not going to get players, but find out about the order and stuff. I would imagine that's what that is. So we'll already start finding out some stuff on Sunday. She's going to explain all of that. I don't even know myself.
Coin flip, pull
All
a
the-
ping pong ball out of a bag.
I have
you know,
no idea what it is. She's going to explain it. And then also, maybe there's some news on Solari. I don't know, but we'll find out. We'll ask her about what's going to happen with the coach, what's going to happen with the players, all of that stuff. So we'll see what happens with Inter. But we've got some news for you at the top of the hour. Before we continue, give us here about a minute.
not even.
Not
Give
even
us
that?
45 seconds.
45
man.
seconds.
45 seconds.
And we
please.
continue right here on The Big O Show.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
There you go. Of course, reach out to Bobby Nunez, and we are thankful for Mr. Nunez and his support of our podcast, and of course, support all of our sponsors because they help make all of this happen. The Dolphins were off yesterday. Today, they'll probably start some work, but it's mostly, just preparation and things like that. They're off this week. They got the bye. They'll get ready for the Redskins. And it's one of those things where you're kind of hopeful, isn't it? And think about this. And again, you won't, if you're just going to focus on the negative, okay, then you won't be thinking this and you won't be enjoying the moment. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to completely enjoy it, but there is a little something to this, right? And by the way, this is only for the real fans. Okay, not the, Johnny-come-latelys or the guys that really are.
The bandwagon folk.
No, and there's no bandwagon. It's just a half-assed people that are not
But I mean the
real-
usual bandwagon people that only show up when
when it's good. That's
Right.
That's only, well, it hasn't been good
they're
for a long
not through
time.
the thick and the thin. They're
Right.
every day wearing their aqua and orange.
So look, the bottom line is that when we look at this team, okay, why do some people talk about that they have a shot against the Redskins? Think about that. If they played like the first 2 weeks, all 4 weeks, would you be saying the same thing? You'd probably say, oh, no, they're going to even lose to the Redskins. But why are people saying they got a shot?
Have you seen the Redskins?
But why are they saying you got a shot against the Redskins now? Because all of a sudden they played defensively into the third quarter against Dallas. Last week against the playoff team, they played a solid first half offensively and defensively. And so now you're starting to look like, okay, wait a minute, there are some signs of life from this team. It's not like they've arrived or they're a playoff team or they're a winning team or even a 500 team or even 5 wins, but there has been improvement. And in the process of the improvement, it actually gives you a little hope. Because if they played the way they played the first 2 weeks, where they were out of it offensively and defensively, and they just got absolutely pummeled, even with Washington, you would say, yeah, they haven't shown anything. There's no way. Now, all of a sudden, you saw defense play pretty stout
Against two good teams.
against Dallas into the third quarter, and then also against the Chargers. And you're saying, well, wait a minute, hold on a second. Washington's not a playoff team. They don't have a great quarterback. They don't have a great offense. Hell, Miami kind of gave Dallas some issues early on and then also hung in there with San Diego until they pulled away because they're better teams. They're playoff teams. That's why they pulled away. That's fine. But this is not one of those kind of teams. So all of a sudden now you have a little hope. But here's the problem. That's all subconscious. Because nobody really brings it to the forefront and starts thinking, well, why do I have hope? Oh, maybe because Flores and his staff have actually made some progress with a ton of young guys that are inexperienced. So it's just that's the interesting part about the next week and a half here until this game rolls around is that as a Dolphins fan, you're going to say, well, wait a minute. And remember what I told you. The negative person will pick up the win, and they'll say, you ruined our draft position. You ruined our chance to get Tua. Okay, not that any coach is going to coach to lose, and players don't play to lose. I keep trying to tell you people that tank. Okay? This is a resetting. It's not like Chris Greer tore it all the way down. He tore it all the way down because it's business. And in order for him to reset this team, he had to turn it all over. But it's not because he's turning it over and then he hands the team over to Flores and he says, hey, just act like a bumbling fool for the next 16 games and lose everything. He can't do that. He has to coach like he's coaching to win every single play, every single series, every single game. That's the way you got to coach. And if you're a player, you have to play like you have a chance. You have to play. And by the way, Miami gave itself a chance going into the second half against the Chargers. And if the offense would have woken up the week before, the defense played into the third quarter with Dallas. So they've had their moments of being competitive, even though they're at a severe disadvantage. I'm just saying, look, you want to torture yourself all season long, you go ahead and torture yourself. Now, if you want to start looking at this objectively and start looking at it like a foundation-building series, that's what we're watching. You're watching the draft. Now you're watching certain players develop throughout the process. All of this is super important. That's why, for me, I keep telling you guys, I mean, I had a big smile on my face on Sunday watching that game. And I even tweeted out how much I was enjoying this game, that first half, because it's fun to watch a bunch of young kids learn the game and try to hang in there. Now, are they running out of gas? Of course they are. I mean, when you're 14, 15, do you think you're going to be able to beat your dad? No. He's probably going to beat you down on everything because he's older. Physically, his body's more developed. He's got that old man strength. You don't. That's what they're running into right now. It's a bunch of young kids. They got all kinds of energy, but they are not, at a point where they are ripe. They're still green. They're still green bananas. They're still green mangoes. You know what I'm saying? They have not turned into those beautiful colors. And then you're ready to peel that mango and eat it. They're not ready for that yet. And so they run into guys that are already in their prime, guys that are stronger, guys that are mentally just better suited for this whole thing at this point. And they just can't handle it. They run out of gas. It's normal. Now, it'll get better as they all get older, as they get wiser, as they get stronger in this process, all of that. But it's going to take a while to change that. It's hard for the dry cleaner that stepped into the business and then the other dry cleaner that's 3 miles down the street or 15 miles down the street. They've been around for 25 years. So it's going to take you a while to build up the kind of business to compete with them. It's just the way it is. Anything's like that. And that's why that's what I love about this process. It's and listen, those of you that are negative, those of you that are frustrated, I understand you because you've been going through so much pain for 20 years now that you already masochistically think it's going to continue. Right? And that's fine. That's fine. I mean, that's how I was for the last 20 years when I would see the different faces. I keep telling you, no, this is not going to work. Yeah, no, these stupid moves aren't going to work. No. Here, nobody's done this. This is completely drastic because this is what they needed, an organizational enema. And that's exactly what you got. So that's the part that it's interesting how we're headed into this Washington game in a week and a half, and people are feeling somewhat confident about this, yet they won't credit the coaches. They won't credit the players. Nothing. Considering how little they have. What are they thinking? They only think one way. Oh, no, Washington must be really, really bad. Well, Washington has a whole ton of established NFL players that Miami does not. Washington has a coach that's been there for several years now. Miami doesn't. They got a new coach. Everything they've had is in place. Everything they have should have continuity, should have consistency. So they have every advantage over Miami. Hell, even if they go back to Case Keenum, he's got way more experience than Josh Rosen. So in every way, shape, and form, they should be a better team. I don't care what the record says. Yet, the only reason people think Miami's got a chance, it's because Washington must be really bad. But there's no chance that Miami's players have gotten better. There's no chance that Flores and his staff are actually preparing young guys to compete with grown-ass men. Isn't that interesting? It's like the guy sent me the text. He just focused on the negative, but he didn't bother to say, well, the coaching staff's developed Mark Walton. While Kalen Ballage is struggling, he doesn't mention Mark Walton. And then while he mentions Gesicki, he doesn't say that Durham Smythe actually played really well this past week. Had the one penalty that hurt them, but he doesn't mention that. See, it's all about convenience in your argument instead of being objective and look at both sides and say, don't blame this coaching staff for Charles Harris because he's sucked now for 3 years. But you're quick to blame him for Charles Harris, but you won't credit them for Taco Charlton? How does that work out? Not exactly sure. So that's where, if you're going to look at this, at least look at both sides. At least try to understand what I was explaining to you before with the coach and the players. They're not going to tell you that they're going to go tank because they're not going to tank. They're going to play the game to win, like Herman Edwards would say. You play to win the game, right? And so they're going to coach like that. They're going to talk like that. They're going to think like that, even though we know it's almost impossible for them to beat most opponents because they're not talented enough, they're not experienced enough, all of that stuff that we've talked about. But you can't tell them that. You can't. And they will refuse to think that way. And if Flores has players that are already thinking like that, then you get rid of them too.
Defeatist attitude.
Yeah, no, it's just that you're a loser. You can't think like that. You're an NFL player. You got professional talent. They're giving you an opportunity. Didn't you want a chance in this league? That's why everybody's in here, right? Everybody took a job in the NFL because they think they can make it in the NFL, right? So all of these young guys that are there, they all feel they have NFL ability. Prove it, dude. Prove it. And that's the way they think. That's the part that I think sometimes some media members and a lot of fans don't realize that players, they have this mentality that they can compete and overcome anything. I mean, Udonis Haslem is talking championship when the Heat are nowhere near a championship. They're so far away that Udonis Haslem will be by that time. Okay? But you can't tell Udonis that. You can tell him that, and he's going to look at you and say you're silly. He'll probably say something a lot worse than silly, but we'll just keep it PG here for you on the program. That's all.
It's something when listening to you talk about it, I was thinking about this. The people that are all defeatist and negative, the self-analyzing, when you're in it, it's hard, like, to get to where our thinking is. You have to, like, step outside yourself and look and be objective, not because they're like still in it and still around it, and like it's hard to remove
the pain.
yourself. And yeah,
It's the 20
and
years
it's just
of all the
pulling and dragging
stupid and-
keeping you from looking for the diamonds in the rough, and that's
You think,
bottom line. That's
you're
where we're
expecting,
at.
You're expecting
Yes.
the other shoe to fall
Yes.
again. You're expecting a bad
Can't-
thing.
it's
You're
gonna keep
expecting a
and keep
bully
negative.
gate. You're expecting something to happen.
They can't see the positive that's happening here.
Right.
That we are like not going to maintain the same ground, the same level. We are actually going to go up. This is for a big bump up. We're not going to stay where we're at.
Right.
And where
It's
we've been.
middling.
This is, you know what? I really do think we have a chance to beat Washington.
Yeah, no, of course you do.
Especially with the coaching,
Yes.
like you said, that we've done. These guys maybe getting a little break. You know what I mean? Like you said, some of these guys haven't played NFL.
The guy that sent the email, why didn't
Yes.
he say, hey, that Isaiah Prince kid they drafted in the 6th round, the guy played all right this week, and he hadn't played all year yet. They were trying to prepare him. The Jamarcus Webb guy that got off the street actually did all right. Why didn't he say that in the email? You just, because you're so trained to think about just the negative things that are going on, you're not. And then some of those
You're
negative things,
incapable of seeing the positive.
and some of those negative things, you can't blame the coaches. Like if Gesicki's not playing well, he has never played well, and neither has Charles Harris.
Bro,
Okay, now
you can't blame the coaches
Now-
for Rose play.
Now, Balaj dropping passes. I don't know how I blame the coach for that. I don't. That's on Balaj. The coach put you. The coach called for the play, right? You're open. So that means the offensive line coach did his job for the offensive line. The running back, if he picked up a block, the running backs coach also did his job. The quarterback's coach also did his job. The wide receivers coach also did his job because his receiver ran the route or his running back ran the route. What's left?
The
You want
offensive
us to
coordinator called the play that got the guy open.
You want him to catch the ball for you too? So we're going to blame the coach for Kalen Balaj not being able to catch a football. Bata. I mean, come on, bro. Until what point are we going to go with the ignorance?
Coaches don't have uniforms on. They're not allowed to go out there and make plays.
Bro, they called the play. You're open. Success. The coach is done at that point. He's done.
He's done all he could.
He's done. A couple of weeks ago, they drew up this play. Jakeem Grant was wide open downfield. Josh Rosen had the protection to deliver the deep ball. He delivered the deep ball right on his face mask. What more do you want the coaches to do at that point? Seriously. Everybody did their job. The quarterback, the protection, even the wide receiver getting open. Everything perfect that the coach called for. That's it. Devontae Parker was open also. This past week, Preston Williams dropped one. He had a touchdown 2 weeks ago that was stripped. Is that the coach's fault? I don't believe so. So that's why I'm telling you that it's one of those deals that you've got to be fair about all of this, man. You just can't keep throwing this crap out and slamming the coaches and then not look at it objectively.
That stuff's on the players, man.
That's all on the players. Drop footballs, that's on the players. Penalties, stupid mistakes, things like that, let's blame the coaches for that. Okay, you want to do that? That's fine. I got no problem with that. You're playing stupid football, I blame the coaches. But a player dropping a bunch of footballs like Kalen Balaj or Mike Gesicki not doing his job, I'm not, or Charles Harris, I'm done, dude. Multiple coaches have coached you. That's why I would get frustrated with you Tannehill excuse makers, because multiple coaches coached him. And none of them could get him out. Why? Because he was never going to be that guy anyway. Kept explaining that to most of you. But it is what it is. If the coaches keep changing and the players' results are the same, he is what he is. Charles Harris is what he is now in years 3. Maybe Mike Gesicki, it's still unfair a season and 4 games in to say he's a bust. But right now, that's how he plays. All right, let me tell you a little bit about CBD Coconut Creek, Ryan Shantz, and all the great people at CBD Coconut Creek. They do an awesome job, man. I'm telling you. Get on down there. Go to their website, cbdcoconutcreek.com. Better yet, go to the store, 1311 Lions Road in the Lions Plaza in Coconut Creek, where the public shopping center is, right behind it, actually, in the shopping center. And I've been taking all kinds of different CBD products to help me sleep. Last night, I only got 6 hours, so I wanted to make sure I got 6 deep hours, okay? And that's where, my friend, I said, okay, well, Ryan hooked me up with the tinctures, the CBD Cloud tinctures. And there's 3 ways. You can put it under your tongue, which is what I do, vape it, or mix it with your favorite liquid. And let me tell you, it supports quality sleep, deep sleep, which I really like. Plus, you get up less to go to the bathroom. Those of us that are a little older, you know what I'm talking about. They've got all kinds of different CBD products for women, bath bombs, great for relaxation, stress relief. They've got stuff for kids. They got stuff for your pets, for those that have anxiety, for those pets that are a little too crazy and you want to calm them down a little bit. It's a beautiful thing. American Shaman. Call them, 954, listen to this, 366-6574. And you can call Ryan. Go to the website, cbdcoconutcreek.com. If you can't go there personally, you can ask about a product, and Ryan will answer the question. It's a beautiful thing. But better yet, go there, tell them that Big O sent you, and you'll get 15% off at CBD Coconut Creek.
For the break, man, kind of the way we do with our sponsors, and you only deal with quality, we're going to throw them 4 hailstorms because a lot of people haven't heard them and this and that. And, like, you got to hear these 4 songs and you'll start listening to them. They are awesome.
And Michelle Kaufman will join us next. We will talk a little football, a little soccer. We got some expansion talk coming. We got the priority draft. We've got some news maybe on a coach. Michelle Kaufman's got those nuggets next.
did it 'cause I'm good, and I did it just because I can. I did it 'cause it makes me feel so good, and I did it because fuck the man. I did it 'cause I'm crazy and no one's gonna save me, and I did it just to cut the noise. I did it 'cause I'm drunk, and I did it yes to walk, 'cause baby I'm just one of them boys. I did it all to break every single preconceived notion that you have. I did it all to shake every single one of your emotions, and just to make you
Oh, that was so good last night. Love me a little Lizzie Hale. So good.
If you're not into her already, you need to get in. She's
so
awesome.
good.
And you know what? The music, the studio, but what they do live, man.
Like I always say,
Amazing.
if you got the DNA from Joan Jett and the DNA from Pat Benatar, you will end up with Lizzie Hale from Hale Storm.
Perfect analogy, man.
That's it.
It is.
Guitar like Joan, voice like Pat. She's so talented. All right. Speaking of talent, yes, Michelle Kaufman is a very talented person. Always kind enough to join us, an exceptional reporter. And of course, you can follow her like so many others do at Koff Sports. You can catch her work at the Miami Herald. And of course, this is our Inter Miami segment every week. The only show that talks a little football with you every single week is right here on this program. Michelle, good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am doing great. Can't complain. Very good week so far. We survived. We made it to 53, so we're good. That's that's a beautiful thing. All right, let's start off. First of all, walk priority draft that's coming up on Sunday. What should Inter Miami fans know about this? Educate us.
Right. Yeah. Well, MLS is complicated, so I think it's good to I almost think you need to take like a course, a full semester course on how MLS works. So there are two expansion teams that are starting this spring, Miami and Nashville. So Inter Miami and Nashville. So what they do is this Sunday, which is the final day of the season, they're going to have a big to-do. Jorge Mas and Paul McDonough, the GM, are going up, and the Nashville head honchos are also going. And they're going to have an expansion priority draft, which what it is it is a coin flip. It is a glorified coin flip to decide which team will get the number one pick. Well, whichever team wins the coin flip has a choice of either getting the number one pick in the expansion draft, which is in November, which is you get to pick the top, current MLS player that's available in that draft. So, or if you win the flip, you can choose to take the number one pick in the college draft, which is in January. They call that the MLS Super Draft, but actually, to be honest, more of the expansion players tend to be better than the college players. But in any case, so they flip a coin on Sunday, and it's going to be on TV at 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 3:30. And they're, at 3 o'clock, it's going to be shown from Midtown Manhattan. So Jorge Mas and Paul McDonough will be there, and their Nashville counterparts will be there. They're going to flip a coin. Whoever wins the coin toss then says, we want to have the number one pick in the expansion draft, or we want to have the number one pick in the super draft. So depending who they have their eye on, I mean, maybe there is some amazing college player that I don't know about that they have the eye on, or if they, my guess is that they probably have their eye on some current MLS players that would be, coming up in that draft. Every team is allowed to protect 13 players, and then after that, everybody's available, or 12. So, anyway, so that's what happens on Sunday. Then on November 19th is the actual expansion draft. And then on that day, whichever team got the first pick will take the first pick. The other one will take the next pick, and they go back and forth. They can get up to 5 players that are currently in MLS. Each team can get up to 5 players from that draft.
Okay, so one of the questions I have, Michelle, is they have the 3 international spots. Are those kind of players available, and would they be willing to take a chance with those kind of players, or they're going to get their own big 3?
Oh, you mean they will? There's be no designated players would not be available in the
Okay.
MLS because the
Okay.
teams can protect up to 12 players. I mean, unless there's a player that they're looking to unload.
That's what I mean.
Who's the-
That's what I mean. That's
if there's
exactly.
a big name player, more than likely it's not going to be the designated players unless it's somebody that they, if that player has not worked out and they think that they're being paid too much, maybe they'll want to ditch them. But I don't think that Miami will want to take that. I think Miami has their eye on two other big name players that they're going to invest in. And I think that in the expansion draft, they're going to take 5 current MLS players that are not DPs, not designated players.
And what do you think? Are they going to try to? Well, I doubt they're available, but young players aren't going to be available, right? That's probably the players that most of these teams are going to end up protecting. Correct? It'll probably be older players, guys
it could be
that are
older
more.
players.
Yeah, go ahead.
Could be older players, could be player. If there's a team that has their eye on somebody that's expensive and they need to unload a little bit of salary, they may drop somebody who's a bigger name, within MLS, not an international star, but someone who's a good player in MLS that maybe has a high salary that they don't want to carry anymore because they're looking to take somebody else. The good thing for Miami is that Paul McDonough has been in this league now for quite some time. And I mentioned last time, he's the one who started up with Orlando City. He started, he's basically the architect that put together the Atlanta United roster. So he knows, he's very familiar, and he used to be an agent also. He's been a coach. The thing about him that's interesting is he's been a college coach, he's been an agent, and he's been a GM. So he's been on every side of the table. When he was an agent, he got to know a lot of the agents, and he also got to know a lot of the GMs. So he has relationships with so many people on all the different levels of soccer, and particularly within MLS, that I think he knows if there are some players hiding under a rock, I think Paul McDonough knows about them. So I'm going to be very curious to see which 5 MLS players they end up with.
That's going to be a lot of fun. Michelle Kaufman, of course, for the Miami Herald. She covers Inter Miami on a daily basis. Is just out of curiosity, this happens sometimes. I don't know if this is already floating around. Is there a name that's floating around that could be the number 1 pick of the expansion draft?
I haven't heard any specific name. I'm going to do a little research on that. Let's talk about that next Wednesday. I'm going to do some research, and I'm going to try to come up with who would be the top 5 players that they could get in the expansion draft, because I want to do a story on that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll do like the top 5 or the top 10 players who may become available, and that'll give us a little bit of an idea of what level of player them and Nashville will probably be fighting over the same 10 or so players. You know what I mean?
I got you. Okay.
Yeah, and then as far as the designated player, I'm still hearing very much Edinson Cavani from PSG. He's not playing that much. His contract is ending soon. And I've heard everything from they're talking to him to they've already agreed to terms, and it's just a matter of finalizing and whatever. So I think he's a guy that that is a very likely person to wind up on this team, which would be a really big get for them. I mean, he's a fantastic player. He's a big-time scorer. He's Uruguayan, speaks Spanish, and, so he would make perfect sense.
All right, and what's the other name? Who's it going to be, Messi?
I doubt that. I don't think Messi. I mean, people, Luis Suarez would be as big as it would get, but I think David Silva, it could be David Silva and Edinson Cavani, which are, if they were to get those 2 players, they're already basically one of the top teams in MLS, if not the top team in MLS. Honestly, they would, the players of that caliber in their prime still that are coming, playing at the top of the game for Man City and PSG, if they were to get 2 players playing for 2 clubs like that to come and start to them in March or even in May, I think that would be phenomenal for the team. And then as far as the coach goes,
Wait. Before you go to the coach, let me stop here with let's finish with the players. One more thing I wanted to ask you. The goalkeeper, because we always talk about the 3 international players are probably position players. So when we talk about the goalkeeper, Where do you think that gets unearthed from? From the draft, from expansion, another free agent way? What? How do you think they end up acquiring? Because if they want to be one of the best teams in the league, I would imagine that they're going to want to invest in that position too.
Yeah, I think they could get it. They could get a player that's, they could get a young international player who's an up and coming. It wouldn't be a DP. It wouldn't be someone who's making one of the biggest salaries that have to be outside of the salary cap, but somebody who's an up-and-coming goalkeeper or an American player who's an up-and-coming goalkeeper within MLS that he may know about, which may be good because an MLS goalkeeper would already be familiar with all of the forwards and the attacking players in MLS, would have a really good understanding of who they're playing against if they're already playing in MLS. You know what I mean? It's a position that having knowledge of the people coming at you is really important when you're a goalkeeper. So, someone coming from outside who's never played in MLS, doesn't know any of these players, someone who's playing in MLS would have more of a working knowledge of, who are they going up against, and if there's PKs, they would know who these players are and what their tendencies are. And that is going to be interesting to see who becomes the goalkeeper. I haven't heard that one of the two big names will be a goalkeeper, but I would think, like you said, that they are going to pay very close attention because that is such a huge position.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge position.
Yeah, that's
I
why,
agree with you.
That's why it piqued my interest, because we always talk about the 3 spots and they're never a goalkeeper. So and I know they want to be good. So if you want to be good from the get-go, then you better have somebody between the pipes that can actually get it done.
I'm going to look. You know what I'm going to look when I'm looking at I'm doing my MLS research now, and I'm going to come up with a list of the top 10 players who would be available. Although we won't know because they're not releasing until 4 days before which players are protected. So I'll have to take some guesses. But
or you could bother a lot of beat writers all across the country and ask them, what do you think your team's going to do? Who are
they going to protect and who are they going to let go?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's who
are they going to let go?
Yeah, that's a lot of phone calls for you, Michelle. Wow, that's
there you go. I'll be on the phone between now and next Wednesday.
Well, supposedly you were going to be on the phone all week, digging some dirt, finding out more about our future coach. What have you been able to unearth?
Well, what I did find out is I did some more research on Santiago Solari. Okay, he's the guy who he's from Argentina. He came up through Real Madrid. He played at Real Madrid for 2 years with. They were very good friends away from the field. He and David Beckham are very good friends, and then he went on to play at Inter Milan. Also, he coached Real Madrid youth and reserve team. Then he coached the actual Real Madrid last season for 4 months before they brought Zidane back. He had a bad week there where he lost to Barcelona and he lost to Ajax in Champions League, and he got canned. And they brought in Zidane, the great hero Zidane. And by the way, Zidane has had some troubles too. It's not so easy to coach Real Madrid. But anyway, this guy has experience playing at the highest level, which if you remember, Jorge Mas said, the coach we get will have played at the highest level, coached at the highest level. This guy has played for Real Madrid and Inter Milan and played with David Beckham for 2 seasons. He has coached Real Madrid, which is about as big as it gets. He has program and system of Real Madrid and the reserve team. So he is familiar with coaching young players, teenagers, as well as coaching Ronaldo. So he can coach a big star. He's also coached the 15 and 16-year-olds, which he will have some young players he's going to be dealing with here. Now, here's the other interesting thing about him. He speaks excellent English, which, I know in Miami, maybe that's not as important, but league-wide, he speaks excellent English because, and he knows about the U.S. college system and the NCAA and everything, because in 1994, his father and his uncle were the coaches of the Saudi Arabian World Cup team that was in the 1994 World Cup in the United States. His dad and his uncle, who are from Argentina, they coached the Saudi Arabian team in the 19 buddies would pretend that they were Holland and they were like the scout team. Anyway, their base was at Stockton University in New Jersey. That is a Division III soccer school. when Santiago was there with his dad and the Saudi Arabian team, he decided that he wanted to go to college there at Stockton University. So he spoke to the coach, and that coach, I called him. I decided to do some digging, and I called that coach. His name is Tim Lenahan, and he's at Northwestern University now. He's the coach at Northwestern. I called him, and he, it turns out, remains very close friends with Santiago. Santi, as he calls him, they vacation together. They visit each other. Solari and his family came to Chicago this summer and spent time visiting with this coach. So they remain very, very close. And so I asked him, what do you know? Is he coming to Miami? And he swore that he does not know, but he did say that he would be the perfect fit, that he is absolutely a top-notch guy who's extremely well-spoken in English and in Spanish. He's very close friends with David Beckham. He knows about United States soccer because he played here at Stockton University, Division III. So he's familiar at least with the college system. And he's from Argentina. So, you know, two of the young players that they've already signed are from Argentina. So anyway, he said to me, he goes, let me put it this way. If Santi takes that job, I will be on the plane and I will be there and meet you at the, you know, at the naming ceremony, because he said, I just think it would be the greatest fit. And here's why. And he just went on and on and on and on and on, even though he said he did not have any inside information to share with me about whether or not he's going to take the job. But the more he talked to me, he really did sound like a very good candidate.
Wow. All right. So there you go. Any other name you heard out there that might be?
Well, David Moyes. You know, David Moyes has come out now. It's all the guys that are looking for jobs, and you don't know. The thing we don't know is, are they throwing it out there because they're really interested, or are they throwing it out there because they're trying to get jobs elsewhere and they want to make it sound like they have an offer from Miami? You know what I mean? So that's what we have to see. Max Allegri, David Moyes, Santiago Solari. I mean, these are the kind of names that I'm hearing. So we'll see what happens. I have heard from a very good source that it will happen in the month of October. So we are in October now. So stay tuned.
All right, there you go. Everything happens in the month of October. Come on, let's go. Little baseball postseason's going on right now. Hockey's starting. Basketball's starting. My birthday. It's all about October, baby. That's what
Halloween. How about Halloween? Halloween.
There you go. That was created because I was born. That's a beautiful thing. There you go. All right. Any other news on local players?
No, that's really all I got for you today.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure there isn't another signing somewhere coming.
Another Georgia Costa? No, nothing. The big thing this week is this expansion priority draft and where they're going to go with that. And I will have a story that'll be posted on Sunday, late afternoon, because I am going to talk to Paul McDonough after the coin flip.
Cool.
So be sure to check the Miami Herald website and Twitter late afternoon on Sunday and in Monday's newspaper, and I will try to find out from Paul where they go going forward based on which pick they have.
Follow her on Twitter at Koff Sports. For you Inter fans, you want to get all the nuggets on your team, you got to catch it at the Miami Herald at your doorstep or online at herald.com. She is Michelle Kaufman. Michelle, as always, you are awesome. Thank you for taking some time.
So are you. Take care. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Be good out there.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Bye-bye.
Good stuff. Michelle Kaufman from the Miami Herald. You got to love that, man. Little Inter. Where else are you going to get the Inter talk, right? Unless they wait till like the season starts and then they're playing and let's get somebody from Inter on.
This is it, man. One-stop shop.
Only place you're going to get your Inter talk. Maybe the only place that actually knows about the damn sport. Anyway, let's tell you a little bit about Caneswear. We love talking about Brett and all the great people at Caneswear. We broadcast from there every single month. They've been proud sponsors of our show for a long, long time. It's the spot where Miami fans shop. They've got the largest selection of items from Adidas, including all the team sideline apparel, which is jersey, polos, T-shirts, hoodies, and hats. And it's the only place to get brands like this in one spot. Adidas, Columbia, Starter, Dime Life, Donation, top of the world, and, of course, CW exclusives and Hook and Tackle. You can get them all there. Huge selection for women, kids, and the babies, too. Got to start them kids off early. If you're like me, you bleed orange and green, get on down to Caneswear. That's the place for you. If you order online over $99, you will get free shipping. And for those of you, if you can't make it down to 2511 South University Drive in Davie, maybe you live in Homestead, maybe you live in Hope Sound, it's a little too far for you, you can order online. Go to caneswear.com. It's a beautiful thing. All right. We'll get you ready for Andre Fernandez at the top of the hour. We got a bunch of other things that I want to get to. Andre does an excellent job of covering the Marlins, so we'll get a little Marlins talk with him and baseball. We'll get a little playoffs baseball. We'll get his thoughts on it. But we'll do that at the top of the hour. If you want to get in for now on, of course, the accidentlawfirm.com text line, it's 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 for the accidentlawfirm.com text line. We got a bunch of things that I definitely want to get into today on the program. I'm not sure if you guys saw that James Johnson failed his conditioning test. And look, it's not that James Johnson looks like I do, okay? Because obviously if he looked like I do, they'd tell him to just leave and never come back again.
Hey, excuse me. You're looking better, man.
Better, but still not good enough for the Miami
Yeah,
Heat.
well, but you're looking all right, man.
No, but still.
Everybody that sees you says, wow, what happened to you?
Well, 50
Where
pounds.
did you go?
Yeah, 50 pounds. It helps to lose 50 pounds. But and I appreciate the kind words, but let's just say that, I'm dead in the water with the Miami Heat. There's no way I could make it with the Miami Heat. So
all your years of high ankle sprains, you probably have a hard time anyway.
Yeah, exactly. James Johnson, so fails the conditioning test. They send him home. Now, this is Mr. Karate Kid. Remember. So he apparently is not in heat shape, which heat shape is a whole different ball game than everything else. And then Jimmy Butler showed up yesterday at 3:30 in the morning for practice. Okay? They didn't have to report to 8 o'clock.
He was just early, or was he
it's just early.
I'm out, I can't go to sleep, I won't wake up, let me just go down
I guess it's like that first day of school that you're dying to show off whatever clothes you got or book bag or something. I don't know what it is.
So was that positive? Not he was out all night thinking he falls asleep, he's not going to wake up in time?
That's not Jimmy. That's not Jimmy.
Hey,
Jimmy's not that guy.
Nothing wrong with being 5 hours early. Shows initiative.
Yeah, we got to give him a little love for that. But showing up at 3:30 is it's cool. You want to talk about it. Oh, he's really dedicated and all that crap. Okay, great. It's fine. Here's what I want to know with Jimmy Butler. And we're going to find out because Jimmy only knows how to be Jimmy. And there's nothing wrong with being Jimmy Butler as long as everybody else around you is kind of dedicated to the same thing and producing. And he would pick on the two guys that were in Minnesota a lot. Okay? Wiggins and the big guy, now I'm forgetting his name, now I'm brain farting. But anyway, he would pick on those two guys. Okay? And they would not play up to snuff, up to his kind of standards. And I'm wondering, I'm not saying that Bam is lazy or anything along those lines, and I know he's not actually, and neither is Justice Winslow. And Winslow showed us 2 years ago in the playoffs, he's got dog in him too. So it's not going to be about work ethic. So I want to make sure I lay that out there, because before I say what I'm about to say, some people may think, oh, well, what does O think, that Bam's going to be lazy and Winslow, so that's going to piss off Jimmy? No. What if Bam doesn't cross that threshold and become that player that everybody's hoping he becomes? What if Justice Winslow just stays inconsistent and is frustrating, like it's happened in his past? What if he can't necessarily string it together where he can play consistently on the offensive end and defensive end, night in and night out. What Jimmy Butler are you going to get then? That's what I want to know. Okay, because when he had to deal with the guys in Minnesota, he couldn't deal with them. He got pissed at those guys because he felt they had a lot of skills and they weren't living up to their potential. So is Jimmy going to be riding Winslow? Is Jimmy going to be riding Bam? I don't mention Tyler Hero here, and I like him. Don't get me wrong. From what I saw in the Summer League, I really like what I saw from Tyler Hero. The only thing is he's a rookie, man, and it's so unfair to put expectations on a rookie. So I'm just going to let Tyler Hero come in and maybe surprise me is what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that he pleasantly surprises me. Because if he has an up-and-down rookie year, I'm not going to get disappointed about it. I'm not going to be happy about it, but I'm not going to get disappointed. What, am I going to be surprised that a rookie struggles in the NBA? Come on. It's normal. So it's hard for me to expect Tyler Hero to be a hero. That's not fair. Now, it's more than fair to say, yo, Bam, let's go, man. Time's up, dude. Yo, Justice, that's it, brother. Plenty of years. You had that year with your wrist injury, so you got a year off, and then you had to come back from that wrist injury, all that stuff. Now you've had a couple of years removed from all of that. Yo, done. Let's go. Are you guys players or are you role players? That's what I want to find out. That's what we're all going to find out, and that's what Jimmy Butler's going to find out. The question is, if those guys don't live up to expectations or maybe even Jimmy's expectations, where do we go? What do you got to deal with Jimmy? Because Jimmy had his issues a little bit in Philadelphia, right? And then he had some issues in Minnesota. And he had issues with the young guys in Chicago. So he's had his share of issues in the different stops. I know he's intense. I know he plays hard. I love all of that about him. But I also know he might be a little wound tight. And if that's the case, that is something that you got to protect yourself from. But the problem is he signed a 4-year, $142 million deal. He owns all the leverage in the world. Because this is kind of like, in a way, Antonio Brown in New England. That once Antonio Brown, okay, you failed in Pittsburgh, you failed in the Raiders, but now you failed also in New England. Holy crap, that organization can straighten you out. That's something that I don't think is going to work out. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I would tell you that we need to find out where he is midway through the season if these guys aren't playing up to snuff. You know what I'm saying? And that's the drama that could await us with that team, because he's never been known to keep his mouth shut or not be able to call people out. And I can see him calling them out.
So you think what is a positive could end up turning into a negative?
An enormous negative.
Now, this is kind of a situation, obviously, being a Yankee fan, like players come over.
Because if other guys don't live up to it,
right. He's gonna jump them,
dude. He's gonna handle the Heat workouts. He's gonna be able to do. He is built for the Heat culture,
dude. Showing up at 3, something.
But he is going to be the guy that is going to demand everybody to live up to that culture. And if they don't, in a game in, game out basis, which, by the way,
so we're looking at overkill.
No one on that team has done that.
No,
think about that.
There's
not one person on that team that has developed into a really good player and is consistent. They're all still trying to find their way, or they're journeymen. Well, you know what? Goran is the only one. but Goran's constantly injured.
You know
That's
what?
the
though?
one thing about Goran. He's kind of breaking down. Goran is the only one that I would say yes. He's
But
had his
he'll-
level of consistencies.
He'll have his one out of 5, 7, 8 games where he has an off night. He's
Right.
not every,
My problem with
but
Goran is
being
injuries.
yeah.
Injuries are really his problem now. He is no longer reliable.
So what you're saying is Jimmy Butler may be overkill.
Yeah, and in the end, Goran's not your future. We
Thank
all
God-
know that.
Thank God Haslam's gone.
So, it's really I'm interested to see what Bam and Winslow do, because the heat is going to be on them. I know Jimmy's going to do his job, but I also know Jimmy's not good enough to carry a basketball team. That's just not who he is. He's not an alpha. He's an alpha dog. He's not a number one guy. He's a number two. He's a Robin.
He's not a jump on my back. I'm gonna carry all of us.
He'll carry you for at the end of a game, a shot or two that you need.
Right.
But if you need him to carry you week in and week out and day out, that's not going to happen. That's
So-
not who he is.
So you don't think the culture of the Heat will kind of put Jimmy in a place and like he'll see that?
No, I think the culture-
the Heat culture kind of supersedes Jimmy's personal being in people's face.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't think that's going to stop Jimmy from being Jimmy. That's the
Okay.
problem. I don't
All
think
right.
anybody's ever stopped Jimmy from being Jimmy. And I think the Heat culture will actually make him feel like he has more reason to go after people.
Ooh.
Because he's living up to the culture. You're not Justice.
Okay.
You're not Bam. What's going on, dude? I need you, bro. I didn't come here to lose. I didn't come here to be mediocre, Bam.
Do you know what we're about? This is how
Yeah, it's like, hey, yo, man, I'm here to ball. Yo, what's up, Bam? I passed you the ball. You didn't come through. You didn't get that block. You didn't get that rebound. I need you to step up, dude. I can't be the only one doing it. Yo, Justice, what's going on? That's the part I'm interested in to see what happens.
What kind of
Jimmy?
what kind of expectation? I mean, Justice, man. We've been waiting. We've seen flashes, but
I don't know.
what are you expecting? Like, are we talking 20? Are we talking 17? Are we talking
teens
8?
for sure. I don't think he's a 20s guy.
No, I'm asking too much.
Yeah. Well, no, you might be right. I don't know. You're asking me what I think.
Right.
I think he's somewhere in the mid-teens is what he ends up. I don't know. I mean, they do need scoring, so maybe he ends up a little higher because of desperation. But I just
Rebounds, assists. I mean, he
Bam
has a
should,
complete.
Bam should do some of that. Winslow should do plenty of that. All those guys should be able to. That's the thing about both those guys. They do it all. So,
Yeah.
but it's up to them to excel.
to do
at
it
all of
every
that.
when you're on the floor. Do it every play.
Yeah. It can't be like, hey, I had a good night out of 3 weeks. And then I was okay in some other ones and bad in 2 of them. No, it can't be like that. You've got to show up every single. That's the only way this season actually becomes really, really good. Because you'll enjoy Jimmy, but once you start seeing that you're meandering and you're just
It
the
doesn't matter
7-8
what he does. It
scene,
doesn't matter what he does.
Yeah.
We are what we are.
Right.
There's no.
Because unless Bam and Winslow step up, this team's going nowhere. They're a 7 or 8 seed.
Right.
I've heard people say, oh, well, maybe if everything goes well, they're a 3 or 4. Man, if they're a 3 or 4, it's because Bam or Winslow are on borderline all-star.
If Dion Waiters plays like those immense 29 games out of 8 years,
Right.
if he plays 82 like those 29.
All we hear is, oh, he lost 15 pounds, and he looks great, and he's all motivated. Motivated for what? For what? And the fans, if you're expecting something out of Dion, you're crazy. You're out of your mind. The guy's been in the league for 8 years, and he has 29 good games under his belt. That's it. That's his only string of consistency in 8 years. 29 games. And all I hear about is people talking about, well, will he be back to his form? His form sucks. His form's mediocre. His form is just one of those things that it just doesn't work out. So that's where I would tell you that it's not one of those things that I think is
expectations have to be low.
No.
The ratio of 8 years, 29 games, that's a little over 3.5 games a year out of 82. That's horrible.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. We're here at Choice Mortgage Bank, and my man Michael Kodzi, as always, proud sponsor of our show, been a proud sponsor of our show for 9 years now, and we're going to be broadcasting out here every single month. And, of course, you can reach out to him. Listen, you got to support the sponsors that support us. You need a mortgage right now. Rates are down. We can get you 561-441-2730. Still under 4%, right?
That is correct. Under 4% for a 30-year fixed mortgage. And in my 15 years right now are even lower. We have all kinds of specials in the low threes. So
you're psyched about this. Give me the info about the 15 year.
Well, I'm happy to save people money. And that's why we're here, is to save people money. If you have that credit card debt. Oh, and by the way, one of your listeners called me last week that had $70,000 in credit card debt. We wrapped it into the home. They avoided paying 29, 30, 31% interest rates. They dropped down to 3.5%. They had tears at the closing table. They were literally crying at the closing table, thanking me because of the cash flow, tax benefits. You get to write off the interest. Right. Their credit scores pop up. Right, because you pay down your credit card debts, your credit scores pop. So they went from 660 credit scores to 740 credit scores. They have cash for home improvements now and to consolidate debt. They got rid of all that credit card debt. One payment, tax deductible, low interest rate fixed. Their accountant. I got a hold of their accountant.
They were probably paying over $1,000 less a month right away.
To be honest with you, obviously I can't say names. It's an anonymous borrower. The savings was about $1,650 a month in positive cash flow. Think about what I'm telling you right now.
I knew that.
So they could take that money now.
Because you did it with me
that
years
changes
ago.
your life.
Yeah.
Here's the kick.
He did it with me years ago.
Here's the kick. Well, you didn't have.
I didn't have that credit issue.
No. And you had good. You were in a different scenario, but we gave you some cash to make the improvements and all that good stuff. But in this case, though, they're taking out that money. We've formed an alliance with a wealth advisor, and now they're doing dollar cost averaging, and they're buying Apple stock. They're buying blue chip stock. So now they flipped their whole life. They're paying their home faster. They reduce their credit card debt. They have money for home improvements, and most of all is they're now saving money. And they're taking that money, and they have now an annuity. They have value. So after a year, instead of being in all this debt, now they have savings. They've taken that $1,000+, and again, they're dollar cost averaging. They're not taking the full $1,000, but I told them take $500, buy 3 different mutual funds with your wealth advisor, and as a result, it's already been the first month. They're like, oh my God, we have savings now. So now they have savings, better cash flow, higher credit scores, tax deductions. You tell me, does that sound like a smart, prudent way to do your finances?
Of course.
It's not just now. It's for the future, too. You're talking about setting them up with
It's
retirement.
a game.
That's amazing.
We talk about football and game-changing moves. This is a game-changing.
Life changer.
Game-changing, life-changing move. They have money for savings for their kid, for college savings. And on top of that, they took some dough, and now they're making some improvements to their house on top of that. So they want to put a lanai. They want to put a porch around their pool area. They want to fix their deck around the pool area, whatever, maybe some leaks. So they have some of that money as well. So if you, again, to your listeners out there, if you have an interest rate of anything over 4%, you must call me at 561-441-2730. You could send me a text. I do answer texts.
Yes,
and I recognize that you all people right now are at work and your boss is looking over your shoulder. So send me a text and I'll call you at 8 or 9 o'clock at night. I'll call you on a Sunday. I'll call you on Saturday. And if you're looking to buy a home and you're tired of paying rent at $1,000, $1,200, $1,500, $2,000 a month, another one of your listeners is paying $2,500 a month in rent. $2,500 a month in rent.
A lot of money, dude.
And wait, he brings $4,000 in. Do the math. He barely has enough food after paying his rent and his health insurance, and then you take taxes out.
I pay way less for my mortgage.
I'm telling you, he's paying $2,500. He got a divorce. He got stuck with the lease, and now we're getting him into a property with $1,200 with the current rates. That's a monster savings.
Yeah,
that's a monster savings. So it just goes to show you, if you're renting out there, you got to call me if you want to own a home and have the American dream and to be able to over-improve not your rental property but your home and not pay your landlord and have him pay down the equity. I suggest you call me, and you call me soon, because the rates are low right now, and they're talking about even reducing them lower. So I would take advantage of that.
Yeah, do it. Call Michael Kodzi right now, 561-441-2730. Save it on that cell phone. That way, maybe you can't do it right now, or send them a text.
Yeah, they can lock it in the cell phone or send me a text, and I'll make an appointment with them later.
Yeah, 561-441-2730. And maybe give me another program that you guys have that folks can take advantage of, like military veterans?
Well, VA, if you're a vet out there and you're renting, 100% financing. That's no money down. If you have spotty credit, we go as little as 560 credit scores. We get you 3.5% on a purchase. So if you're looking to buy a home and your credit scores are under 600, it's okay. If you had a foreclosure or a short sale or a BK in the past, it's okay. We have common sense underwriting. We are not, we don't underwrite and have the same harsh guidelines that a bank has. We are more flexible. We are more relaxed. We are faster. Our closing costs are cheaper. Our rates are lower, and we're getting people into homes, and it's a beautiful thing. And right now, I'm telling you, if you're renting and you're paying over $1,000 a month, it takes you 5 minutes to give me a call. I pre-approve you. I set you up with a realtor, and we get you closed in 30 days. It's, like I said, a game changer.
There you go. 561-441-2730. Call Michael Kotze. That's the owner's personal cell number. So he's not hiding from anybody. You're going to have access to him before and after the transaction because he wants to know how happy you are after that transaction.
And I want to help your family. I want to help your neighbors. I want to help your friends. I mean, we're locking people into loans of 3.25%, 3.5%. I mean, these are World War II interest rates. These are these are rates that they're just unimaginable. If you're out there, and I'm telling you, listeners, if you look at your mortgage statement and you're paying anything over 4%, you must call me because I could also even drop your term. So if it doesn't make sense to refinance a 30-year fixed, then I'll put you in a 15-year, and you'll maybe make the same payments, and you'll knock down 10 to 15 years of your home payments. And if you're also, I mean, come on. And if you're also over 62 and over, and you have equity, we do reverse mortgages. That's also a monster benefit. So we have all kinds of programs. If you're self-employed and your tax returns are sophisticated or you show losses, in other words, you own a restaurant, you bury your cash, you're an exotic dancer, you're a bartender, you're a waiter, you're a developer, and you have a lot of real estate, and you get to write off your depreciation and all those properties. We have programs, common sense underwriting. We have it, and we're closing people, and we're making people very, very happy, especially right now, taking advantage of the low interest rates.
Yeah, that was my other choice of career, exotic dancer. But I just said, maybe.
You were too good for that.
I just said, I don't want to.
You were too good for that.
I don't want to tease all these women out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm married, so it's just not a good thing.
Are you Patrick Swayze or are you, what's his name, the Saturday Night Live skit?
More like that, yeah. It's probably more like that. So what'd you think? You think the Dolphins are going to win in a week and a half against the Skins? They got a shot, I think.
Well, you know what? I was, I have to say, impressed. And I didn't watch the game. I was traveling, but I watched a little bit of the first quarter of the Dolphins. They kept it in there.
They hung in for the half against a playoff
Well, I watched
team.
the first quarter, and they hung in. Look, any given Sunday, it could happen. I don't suspect they're going to go 0-16. I don't think that. They're not playing to do that. That's and you've talked about that a million times on your shows. They're professionals. They're not looking to lose so they get the number one draft pick. That's absurd. I don't buy that in any sport, and I'm a big hockey guy as well, hockey and football. The Dolphins right now are, and we all know they're in the rebuilding stage. And you just have to be patient, and it's a 3-year plan?
Yeah, 3-4 years. I'm sure is where
I'll tell you what I'm really excited about. I'm excited about all the draft picks they have, and my understanding is, and again to your listeners, you should be right now watching the Georgias, the Clemsons.
That's what I tell them.
And the Alabamas, because those are your future NFL players. And my understanding is that class is deep. And again, I'm not a big college football guy. I understand and recognize what's going on. I know the names, but I don't watch it on every Saturday because I'm busy at the rink, but they have it's a deep pool. Is it not a deep pool?
No, it's definitely a deep pool.
You have that stud. You have that stud quarterback,
Tua.
So I mean, I could see him in a Dolphins jersey. He's got a lot of the tools, assuming he stays healthy. You have these wide receivers that are animals out of Alabama.
Yeah.
Some of these, that guy Judy, and
but switching gears now. Hockey season starts tonight.
I'm really excited about our
tomorrow.
Panthers. So Coach Q is in the house. I know him personally. Great guy off the ice. Stanley Cup winner. Gets a ton of respect. And I don't know if a lot of your listeners follow hockey. I'm sure they do, but I'm a big hockey guy. And, You have Bobrovsky in net. He was one of the MVPs in the past. So you have goaltending. You have the coach now. There's no excuses. We were the second best power play in the league last season. We have a lot of depth at forward. The defense is a little concerning. They're a little bit thin on D, but now you have to get some of these younger kids in, and we have the firepower, so we can keep up with any team. But the really beauty about this organization is how fun it's going to be against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Yeah. Those are going to be
you open the season back-to-backs.
Those are going to be really exciting games. The Lightning are for real.
They always are.
Yeah, they're for real. They're a very well-run organization.
They're one of the three best NHL organizations.
And their fan base is ridiculous. And that's
because they've built that. They've
100%, and they support. And their location of their rink is in downtown Tampa, which is nestled between bars and restaurants. It's a whole.
They did what Mickey and Riley have done in basketball here.
100%. So I really respect them. I respect their management. They have great depth, great farm team, just like we do. And it's going to be a fun rivalry. So I encourage
what I love about the Panthers?
To watch the games.
You know what I love about the Panthers and the ownership and the front office?
Oh, they're committed to winning.
No, but not only that, they're objective enough that they look at the Lightning and they say, "That's a model organization.
That's the model.
We need to patent ourselves behind what they're doing." They're not looking at anybody else going, they don't know, we're doing it better or what. They're not that kind of.
No, they recognize that the Lightning
and even when
are 5-star top shelf.
Hey, a couple years ago when they screwed up with the whole talent thing, they fixed that thing within a year, buddy.
They rebooted it immediately. They got Talon back on there. And they recognize they made a mistake. They admitted they made a mistake.
That's huge.
They're not.
Nobody does that in sports. Nobody does that.
I remember the press conference.
They're hard-headed. They keep going. They'll go into years 3 and 4 doing it until they lose, and then they say, "Well, we got to make a change," and they rarely ever admit
it was effective
that
immediately. They had some a bad string of games. They cleaned house. They brought Talon back in. He made the right moves. Here we are.
I ended up gaining more respect for Viola and Sifu because I always think you're bigger as a person when you admit you're wrong and you're willing to correct it. You're willing to look at yourself objectively. There's nothing better than that, and that's one of those things because we're all going to screw up. Not one of us is perfect.
We're all going to make mistakes. You make listen. In football, how many bad draft picks the Dolphins have made in the past 15 years, and I know you could rattle that. I don't know if you want to get an upset stomach.
No.
And get into that negative talk, but it's happened. It's happened, and we've had good draft picks. So the draft picks we have currently right now are playing, and they're on the roster, and we've locked them all up for the next 4 or 5 years. We're talking Ekblad, Trocheck, Barkov. We picked up Hoffman last year, which was an unbelievable pick.
Great pick.
We have Huberdeau. We have Yandel. All these guys are locked up. Now we have Bobrovsky. So, to your listeners, if you want to watch an exciting team, and by the way, if you want to go to a game, it's very affordable. They have some nights they have beer nights for like $5, which is fantastic. They really want to cater the the locals and have you come in there. It's a great sport where you could bring your gal and then she could doll up because it's cool temperature in there.
Well, the women love it because
women love it. It's riveting.
They love blonde, blue-eyed Europeans that are just flying around the ice. That's all it is. The women aren't kidding me.
And tell me what.
I want to go to a hockey game. No, you want to see big, blonde, blue-eyed guys on the ice. That's what you're doing.
And tell me how fun it is to go to a live hockey game compared to
the best
sports. I think it's
no. It's the best sport live.
It's
period.
Fast. It's a lot of action. It's a great night to take your wife or your date.
Every other sport's TV, dude.
No. Hockey's not great on TV, but it's really good live. And the kids love it too. How about for the kids? It's all good stuff.
My daughter. That's the only thing I can take her to. I can't take her to any game.
And by the way, you could actually
a hockey.
You could actually call the Panther organization and say, "Hey, I need a suite that fits 10 people. Each of you guys kicking a little bit of money, and now you have a suite where it's totally affordable." So it's a great venue to go to. It's centrally located in near Weston. It's not even that far to get to from whether you're in Miami or in Boca.
Yeah, listen. What I love about this whole thing is that we're about to see a whole bunch of people get on the bandwagon.
You'll see.
You know what I mean? Because I talk and love Panthers every year and all that good stuff, and people always, I always get slammed on social media. Oh, let it go. Oh, they're not going to win or whatever, and I get it. It's fine. They haven't come through, but this town, like in the mid-'90s, when they were crazy and I was covering it and there were 300 people outside of Pompano's Ice Arena waiting for practice to end so they can get autographs, 300 people at practice Okay, that was crazy back in the mid-'90s when I was covering them. So I think we're going to get back to that point where there's going to be just absolute pandemonium for this team.
And right now is the time to capitalize on that, right?
Right. That's
I mean,
why
our Dolphins are not great.
Right.
The Marlins are not great.
Right.
And the Heat, I don't follow them so
Oh,
much.
Inter's going to own the Summers now. Next year, that's it. Baseball is going to fall deeper into the abyss next year when Moss and company start off their soccer season, because the MLS team will dominate South Florida during the summer because we have nothing during the summer. And the Marlins don't do anything to try to win. See, that's the thing I love about the Panthers. That's when people, they pick on me and I go, but they're trying. That's the difference between them and the Marlins. They made a true commitment to winning, and because of that, I respect that. Even the Dolphins, they sign all these stupid players and free agents, and they go after all these coaches. They're trying. They may not do it right, but at least they're spending and they're trying. Until the Marlins start spending and trying, I can't give you the same kind of love, dude. I can't.
I could tell you that the Panthers are definitely spending, and definitely they have the most expensive NHL coach in
and a hell of a payroll too, man.
Yeah, a hell of a payroll, and they have
and all these guys are signed to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-year deals.
It was masterful the way they handled the contract. So they're in the right direction, and I'm really excited for them. And I suspect if they're going to make the playoffs this year,
they better.
And you'll have a lot of sold out.
You can't get Bobrovsky and Q and not make the playoffs, dude.
Not with Barkov, Trocheck.
No,
Huberdeau,
you weren't making
Hoffman.
it with you weren't making it with those guys. But my point is,
now you have
those guys, and you have the guy between the pipes that's going to finally stop some shots.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? There are no excuses now for the Panthers. They have to make the playoffs, and I'm expecting all those young guys to have career years.
Just hope no injuries, of course.
We can't control that.
They do have depth, and like I said, their farm system's unbelievable. There's 3 or 4 players that can't even crack the roster now that could play in a fourth or third line on another team. So they're deep, and I'm really excited. I just wish on defense they had a little bit more.
They added a couple guys,
size and grit, but it's you have your top 4, and then it drops off from there. But nonetheless, they put the puck in the net. Their power play is number 2 in the league last year, and they'll continue to be very, very strong in the power play, and we're really excited about the direction they're going.
I'm with you. And make sure you reach out to Michael Kodsey if you need that mortgage. 561-441-2730. 561-441-2730. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Andre Fernandez from The Athletic is going to join us. We'll talk a little Marlins. We'll wrap up the show with Andre Fernandez. But again, you need that mortgage. You're looking for that home. Call my guy, Michael Kodsey. He will put you and your family in a much better place at 561-441-2730. Andre Fernandez is next.
Plus tax tag title and includes $8.99 dealer fee on
Super savings on over 1,500 Toyotas during our 2020 Supra sales event at Toyota of Hollywood. Toyota of Hollywood has one of the largest selections of 2020 Supra launch editions in the country. Plus, we're selling 2019 Toyotas at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $18,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $13,775. Get super savings during our 2020 Supra sales event at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street, open till midnight.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right, welcome back. We are trying to get in contact with Andre Fernandez to talk a little Marlins here on the program. Remember, if you want to reach out to us here on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, it's 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to join us and you got any comments, we can talk a little anything you want. I mean, anything you want to ask about. I'm sure you're not really going to ask me about the Marlins, but I'm intrigued about some of the things with the Marlins, and Andre Fernandez does an excellent job of covering the Marlins. So I figured we'd bring him on so we could talk a little Marlins and get the latest on what's going on, get his thoughts going on in the playoffs, all that good stuff.